Erika Kirk was having an affair, which is why Charlie Cook took her out of the will. So allegedly, the story is that Erika Kirk was having an affair. Charlie hired a private investigator to kind of follow her and see what was going on.
Do this.
And I'm gonna be racing with my girlfriend.
The latest Erika Kirk scandal is exploding all over the internet, and the chatter is getting louder by the minute. People are claiming she was cheating on Charlie with multiple men, and not just random outsiders, but men connected to Turning Point USA itself. The same organization that built its entire brand on faith, family, and so-called traditional values is now at the center of these rumors, and the irony is impossible to ignore.
And as a part of her Shabbat Shalom PR blitz, she conducted her very first interview from Charlie's home office. And yet, curiously, that wedding photo is missing.
But the story doesn't stop there. Now critics are saying Charlie found out, and according to Candace Owens, in the final days of his life, Charlie had stopped wearing his wedding ring and was sleeping in his daughter's room instead of sharing a bedroom with Erika. If that detail is accurate, it adds a whole new layer to everything we've seen play out over the past 5 months. And because while all this was unfolding behind closed doors, Erika was front and center in public. Fireworks entrances, wide smiles, non-stop interviews, full glam squads, and even public comments about how much money Turning Point made after Charlie's death. She reportedly called Charlie's memorial an event of the century, and that line alone had people raising their eyebrows. The "everyone grieves differently" explanation isn't landing the way it used to. Critics say nothing about her public behavior looks like heartbreak. Instead, they argue she appears lighter, almost relieved, like a weight has been lifted, and she's finally moving how she wants to move.
Hi!
Hi!
Good morning, America!
What's your advice to young women who get asked out by young men?
Well, stay away from hookup culture. Don't just date to date.
Some are now questioning whether that polished conservative Christian tradwife image was ever fully authentic, or simply smart PR aimed at loyal supporters. And here's where it gets complicated. Erika isn't some wide-eyed newcomer. She has multiple degrees, runs businesses, and built a career long before this marriage. She didn't marry at 22 fresh out of Bible study. She married at 34 after years of dating, networking, and establishing herself. That contrast is exactly why critics say her current messaging doesn't line up with her past, and that disconnect is what keeps this controversy alive. Now, when you stack these rumored affairs on top of everything else, the questions get louder and way more uncomfortable. People aren't just whispering anymore, they're asking straight up, how long was this really happening? Was this something that started years ago and never stopped? And who exactly are the men inside Turning Point that Erika allegedly got involved with? Let's rewind for a second. Erika publicly claimed she hadn't dated anyone for 5 years before meeting Charlie.
Erika Kirk's ex is now the speaker for Turning Point. Cabot Phillips, the editor of the Daily Wire, the outlet that actively had beef with Charlie. The same Daily Wire that went and took over the Charlie Kirk show for a cameo 6 days after he was assassinated. Not only is this guy Erika's ex, but while Erika was dating Cabot, Cabot already knew Charlie. So now that Charlie's gone, Erika's already decided to give her ex-boyfriend a seat at Turning Point? That's totally not suspicious at all. Nothing to see here.
That statement painted a very specific picture. Patient, waiting, focused, almost storybook timing. But critics were quick to pull out receipts. Photos surfaced, old videos resurfaced, names resurfaced. Cabot Phillips, JT Massey, former Survivor contestant Joe Englem, basketball player Josh Harrelson. These weren't vague rumors. These were documented relationships people could actually point to online, and that's only what's publicly traceable. So naturally, critics are asking, if the timeline about her dating past didn't fully add up, what else might not line up? Did everything truly shift overnight when she met Charlie, even though he didn't resemble the kind of men she had dated before? Or was the image rebranded to fit a new audience? And that contrast is what keeps people digging. Now here's where it really escalates. Former Turning Point insiders, some of whom say they were dismissed after raising internal concerns, are now making stronger claims.
And yeah, we met at the office, very briefly. And that was you that was standing in line in Israel.
And then we went to Bill's Burgers in New York. Best burgers.
Oh my gosh. So then, do you want to tell that part?
You can tell it. They hear enough of me. It's all they hear is me.
Okay, so we get to Bill's Burgers, and I'm there thinking it's a business interview.
It started that way.
Right. So we sit down, and you grill me for what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Easily. On philosophy, politics, religion, culture, economics, what else? Everything else you can imagine, he grilled me. Anything he talks about on his podcast show, he grilled me on.
They allege the dating history didn't stop at the altar. According to these whistleblowers, Erika was allegedly involved with multiple men inside TPUSA during her marriage. These are still allegations, and it's important to say that clearly. But the reason this won't die down is because several former insiders are telling versions of the same story. And then come the most explosive claims. Some say she would privately mock Charlie, joke about his appearance, call him naive, and laugh about it behind closed doors. If those claims are false, they're damaging. If they're true, they completely flip the public image people thought they understood. That's why this situation feels bigger than just gossip. It's about contradictions, timelines, and whether the public persona matched what was happening privately. And until clear answers come out, the speculation isn't slowing down anytime soon. So who are the men Erika allegedly had affairs with? One name that keeps popping up again and again is Cabot Phillips. And yes, he's married. Cabot and his wife, Emma Meschel, got married in September 2020. Erika and Charlie didn't tie the knot until December 2021. On paper, those timelines look clean. But critics say the rumors don't stop at the wedding dates.
There's a picture of Erika Kirk with a ponytail, and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before, and she was with that man in the lobby.
According to speculation online, Erika and Cabot were involved before their marriages, and some insiders claim the connection didn't fully fade afterward. But these are allegations, but the timeline is what has people raising eyebrows. Photos Cabot himself posted show he was dating Erika in late 2017. There's even a painting date picture where he captioned them clearly as a couple. That part isn't rumor, that's documented. But here's where it gets strange. In that same month, there's also a photo of Cabot playing basketball with Charlie. Same circle, same time frame, same social orbit. So critics are asking, how do you date someone who is casually hanging out with the man you later claim you didn't even know? That's the question people keep circling back to.
Charlie would try to intervene and she'd just talk over him, like he didn't even matter anymore. And then just days after he died, they announced her as the new CEO, like she was some kind of savior stepping in during a tragedy. That didn't sit right with anyone who'd been there.
Fast forward to 2018. Erika interviews for a position at Turning Point with Charlie and reportedly claims she had no idea who he was. That detail is what fuels the skepticism. Because if she was dating Cabot in 2017, and Cabot was spending time with Charlie, even playing basketball with him, critics argue it seems unlikely she had zero awareness of who Charlie was. That disconnect is what keeps this theory alive. Now here's where the narrative gets even more intense. Some insiders are alleging that Erika and Cabot may have stayed closer than the public realized. Again, these are allegations, not confirmed facts, but multiple voices online claim the relationship may have continued quietly in the background. And then there's an even darker version of the story circulating, that Erika marrying Charlie wasn't purely romantic, but strategic. According to this theory, she was allegedly positioned for the role by powerful figures behind the scenes at Turning Point.
Every time Erika got involved in a Turning Point event, something felt off. People got pulled from their posts for no clear reason, replaced with names nobody recognized. They weren't loud about it. They just appeared. They'd hover, take notes, make little adjustments, and they did strange things. Subtle stuff. Asking for background checks on volunteers who'd already cleared. Rerouting internal comms through temporary systems nobody could verify. Requesting access to attendee lists that had nothing to do with their role. What most people don't realize is that Erika had already started acting like CEO before Charlie even died. She was giving orders, making executive calls, speaking for the organization in ways that made all of us uncomfortable.
And the speculation escalates even further when people bring up claims made by former Special Forces operative Mitch Snow, who alleged that both Erika and Cabot attended a private military-related meeting at Fort Huachuca the day before Charlie was assassinated. That claim is unverified and highly controversial, but it's being discussed heavily in certain circles online. At this point, it's not just about one rumor. It's about overlapping timelines, resurfaced photos, insider accusations, and theories stacking on top of each other. Whether any of it holds up under scrutiny is still an open question, but the internet is definitely not letting it go. What makes this story feel even more suspicious to critics is what happened right after Charlie was assassinated. Within days, Lady Erika selected Cabot to step into his role on the college tour circuit. That decision alone had people talking, because out of everyone in the organization, she chose someone she had previously dated. To some observers, that move didn't look random. It looked strategic. And that's where the speculation intensifies. Some former Turning Point insiders are now claiming Cabot wasn't the only alleged connection. According to these whistleblowers, Erika was allegedly involved in multiple inappropriate workplace relationships and frequently flirted with younger men inside TPUSA. These claims remain unproven, but the repetition of similar stories from different former staffers is what's fueling the online storm. Several names are being circulated in these discussions. TPUSA correspondent Jack Posobiec has been mentioned in rumor threads, right along with Brandon Schubert from the high school program leadership team, advisory council member Nathan Auer, and others tied to the organization.
Wanted Charlie to have a good night's sleep. He was so excited. So you sent him to sleep in his daughter's room. It just registered me as a little bit backwards. I wanted my husband to have a good night's sleep because of something he had the next day. I'd probably let him sleep in the room, and I would sleep in my daughter's room. Flagged that. I also thought what was interesting is that you said the next morning when he snuck in, he grabbed his wedding band. Again, minor detail, but I asked myself, why was his wedding band off?
To be very clear, there is no confirmed evidence of misconduct involving these individuals. These names are appearing in online speculation and insider claims, not verified findings. Still, critics point out that when you look at Erika's documented dating history, these men seem more aligned with her previous preferences than Charlie did, which adds another layer to the narrative being built. At this stage, there is no public proof that Erika was caught cheating. Everything remains in the realm of allegation and insider testimony. But what's adding fuel to the conversation is that some former employees who say they were dismissed are now speaking out. They're sharing what they describe as a very different picture of Erika behind closed doors. One anonymous source claimed that even before Charlie's death, Erika had already begun consolidating power at the top levels of the organization. According to this account, she was making executive decisions, directing leadership strategy, and asserting authority in ways that made some staff question who was truly in control. That version of events paints a portrait of a power shift that may have started earlier than the public realized.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
And according to the same insider, Charlie eventually sensed something wasn't right. They claim he attempted to confront Erika about internal changes and decisions being made without him. But by the time he began connecting the dots, the situation had already escalated beyond his control. These claims are serious, and they remain unverified. But the reason this controversy refuses to fade is because each new allegation builds on the last, creating a storyline that many online observers believe deserves closer scrutiny. And now, just when people thought this story couldn't get any heavier, Candace stepped in with what she calls even more receipts. She revealed that the night before the assassination, Charlie had reportedly taken off his wedding ring and chose to sleep in his daughter's room instead of with Erika. That detail hit hard online because it adds emotional weight to everything already being discussed. So naturally, people are asking the tough questions. Was Charlie already thinking about divorce? Did he find out something about Erika that changed everything? Was there a confrontation behind closed doors that the public never saw? Those questions are spreading fast, and nobody seems to have clear answers yet. Even if only a portion of these allegations hold any truth, critics argue the implications would be massive. Alleged workplace relationships, rumored private meetings, claims of internal power shifts at TPUSA, and the timing that some say lines up with Charlie being sidelined. To some observers, it doesn't look random. It looks coordinated. That's the theory gaining traction in certain circles. It raises a bigger question about image versus reality. How much of Erika's polished public persona was genuine, and how much of it was carefully managed presentation? And if there really were hidden alliances or personal entanglements, were they emotional decisions or strategic ones? This story is still unfolding, and the speculation isn't slowing down anytime soon. Let me know what you think in the comments. Coincidence or something deeper? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.